The story begins with a girl named Casey, who was sitting a bit sad and lonely at her friend's birthday party in a restaurant. Unlike the other girls, she wasn't very bubbly or outgoing. She often seemed lost in her own world. After the party, Claire, whose birthday it was, and her father asked Casey if her dad wasn't coming to pick her up. Casey quietly replied that she didn't have a father. She lived with her uncle, but his car had broken down. She told them to go ahead, that he would come soon. Claire's father didn't feel comfortable leaving her alone, so he offered to drop her home. Now Casey, Claire, and Marcia all got into the car together. While Claire's father was putting some things in the trunk, suddenly an unknown man appeared. The trunk slammed shut loudly, and the stranger sat in the driver's seat. Casey looked at him in shock and fear. This was definitely not Claire's father. Claire tried to stop him, saying, "Brother, you've gotten into the wrong car." But Casey already sensed that something terrible was about to happen. The man put on a mask and sprayed something on Claire and Marcia's faces. Both girls in the back seat passed out immediately. Casey tried very slowly to open the door, but the man knocked her out too. When Casey regained consciousness, she was in a dimly lit room. Claire and Marcia were also there, barely holding themselves together in fear. Their kidnapper, a man wearing glasses, entered and, looking at Marcia, said, "I choose you," and immediately started dragging her away. Seizing the moment, Casey whispered in Marcia's ear, Pee yourself." Moments later, the man brought a crying Marcia back and threw her in, slamming the door angrily. Marcia told the others that the man's name seemed to be Dennis. He had taken her to another room, made her take off her clothes, and told her to dance. But as soon as she peed herself, he brought her back in disgust. Casey explained, "I noticed this man has OCD. He can't tolerate dust, dirt, or germs. People like him have an obsession with cleanliness. Even when he came to kidnap us in the car, he was still cleaning things. It's his habit." Claire tried to comfort the other two, saying, "Don't be afraid, everything will be okay. We'll fight him together." Meanwhile, on the TV screen in the room, news was playing about the disappearance of 3 girls. On the other side, an elderly psychiatrist, Karen Fletcher, was working on her computer. She saw that a patient named Barry had booked an appointment. Claire started planning. If the kidnapper comes again, the 3 of them will attack him together. But Casey said he was very strong. He had gently lifted Marcia despite his power. She added, "I need a little more time to understand him. I still don't know what this man really wants. I'll definitely help you, but first let me observe things." At Fletcher's clinic, a man wearing a hat and an open coat entered after knocking. This was Barry, but he looked exactly like Dennis, though his personality was completely different. Dr. Fletcher already knew this man had many personalities, 23 in total living in his mind. She suspected this wasn't Barry, but Dennis, because he was obsessively arranging things, Dennis's typical behavior. Meanwhile, the girls were trying to peek through the door. They saw a woman talking to the kidnapper, whom they thought was Dennis. Suddenly the woman came to the door and opened it. To their shock, it was the same man, but now dressed in women's clothes and heels. The girls were stunned. Why was their kidnapper wearing women's clothing? The woman, another personality named Patricia, said, "I've spoken to Dennis. He won't trouble you anymore," and left, locking the door. Marcia and Claire started whispering that this man was crazy, talking to himself. He might kill them and never let them go. Later, Dennis came with a bucket, muttering angrily about why the bathroom was so dirty. He gave them cleaning supplies and said, "Keep it clean, okay?" He also added, "I promised Patricia, I won't even touch you. Anyway, someone is coming to feed you." That night, the girls woke Casey and pointed at the door. The kidnapper was now sitting there in a yellow raincoat, looking very happy. This was Hedwig, a 9-year-old child personality. He kept repeating, "Someone is coming, you won't like him." The girls realized this wasn't an act. He really had multiple personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder. Hedwig seemed innocent, so they started asking him questions to learn more. Someone called Hedwig over, saying, "Come here, I'll tell you a secret." Casey told him that the person coming wasn't for them, but for him. She had overheard Patricia and Dennis saying they needed a 9-year-old boy this time. Hearing this, Hedwig got scared and said she was lying. Casey offered, "We 3 can help you fight him, just take us out of here." Hedwig was still doubtful. He ran to lock the door from outside in panic, then rushed out and opened another door hurriedly. The girls started searching the room, tapping the walls. Claire suspected the ceiling might be hollow. Hanging upside down, she tore it open with her heel. Just then Hedwig insisted on coming back. Claire quickly removed the ceiling grill while Marcia and Casey held the door. But Hedwig turned into Dennis, much stronger, and broke the door open. Claire climbed into the ceiling space to see where it led. Dennis chased her, shouting. Claire hid in an empty locker, but he found her, locked her in a separate room, and ordered her to remove her clothes. He then fixed the ceiling in the other room and threatened Marcia and Casey that Claire would now stay separately. He also told them to keep cleaning. Meanwhile, Drive, Fletcher was in a meeting with colleagues discussing dissociative identity disorder, how different personalities have separate minds and even different strengths. Later, Barry, actually Dennis, came to see her. She realized it was Dennis. He denied letting Patricia or Dennis out. Dr. Fletcher kept probing, and from CCTV, she confirmed her suspicion. Back in the room, Marcia said they had to escape before something worse happened. Soon the kidnapper came as Patricia, dressed them up, and took them to the kitchen to eat, saying they were good girls, unlike Claire who tried to escape. While Patricia was cooking, Marcia hit her with a stool, but Patricia switched to Dennis, who took control. He locked Marcia in a separate room as punishment and told Casey to lock herself in another room. Angrily, he said he would eat them raw. They betrayed kindness. The next day, Casey woke up to find Hedwig sleeping behind her. He said Barry and Patricia were angry and wanted to bring the beast soon. But he was different, he truly cared about them. Casey asked if he had ever seen the beast. Hedwig got nervous and changed the topic, asking for a kiss. Reluctantly, Casey agreed, hoping to use his innocence to escape. She praised his kiss and suggested they dance in his room to music. But Hedwig said he had to go. Barry had a meeting with Dr. Fletcher. During the session, Drive, Fletcher directly told him she was talking to Dennis, not Barry, and insulted him, calling him worthless for enjoying making girls strip and dance. Dennis refused to accept it. She warned that the other 22 personalities would destroy him if he continued. Dennis replied that except him and Patricia, the rest were useless. He came out only to protect weak Kevin, the real name of the man, from the world that would crush him. Dr. Fletcher tried to learn more about the beast, but got no clear answer. Later, Hedwig took control again and took Casey to his room. He played loud music and danced. Casey reminded him about showing her a window, but he pointed to a childish drawing of a window he made. Casey broke down. She had hoped for a real window to call for help. Angry, she called him a liar. To please her, Hedwig gave her a real walkie-talkie. Casey tried to call for help, but the person on the other end thought it was a prank. Hedwig snatched it back and sent her to her room. Dennis took over again and said once the night ended, the beast would be happy. He warned that the beast was about to awaken, and the girls would be his food. Casey then had a flashback to her childhood. Wandering alone in the forest near her house, her Uncle John, who had abused her repeatedly, hiding behind a rock, naked, asking her to take off her clothes to play animals. When he came back dressed, Casey pointed a gun at him, but he snatched it away. This abuse was why Casey was always withdrawn and quiet. That evening, Drive, Fletcher checked her emails and saw desperate messages from Barry, "We need you." Realizing Dennis was suppressing the others, she went to his house. Dennis let her in and talked briefly. She became convinced Dennis was fully in control and had kidnapped the girls. Seizing a moment, Drive, Fletcher opened a door and found Claire on the floor. But Dennis came from behind, drugged her unconscious. Casey tried opening doors from inside. Dennis bought flowers from a mall. On his way back, Casey found a computer room with videos of all 23 personalities. Meanwhile, Dennis reached an abandoned train yard and transformed into his 24th personality, the Beast. He grew larger, moved like an animal, and ran toward the house with superhuman speed. Dr. Fletcher woke up, wrote notes on Dennis's table about the Beast. The creature entered. She tried to stab him, but his skin had become incredibly tough. The blade broke. The Beast crushed and killed her. After watching the videos, Casey found the keys. She sneaked through the halls searching for the others. She found Marcia's bloody corpse in one room. Claire was alive in another, but the Beast dragged and began eating her. Casey found Drive, Fletcher's note. Call his name repeatedly, Kevin Wendell Crumb. She started shouting it loudly. The real Kevin emerged. Seeing Drive, Fletcher dead, he asked Casey who did it. When she said it was him, the Beast, Kevin was horrified. He revealed he had bought a gun. The gun was there, but bullets were downstairs. He begged Casey, kill me, I've become too dangerous." Different personalities started surfacing. When Hedwig appeared, Casey searched for the gun. She knew the beast would return soon. She ran downstairs for bullets, but the beast appeared before she could load all of them. He grabbed her, tearing her sweater. Casey grabbed the gun again and ran, limping to another corner. She aimed at the beast as it slowly advanced, just like her father had taught her to hunt. She had only 2 bullets left, and they seemed ineffective. The beast started bending iron bars with his hands. Then he noticed scars on Casey's body, signs of childhood abuse, just like his own. Recognizing the shared trauma, he let her live and walked away. The next day, a man found Casey trapped and rescued her. She survived and told the authorities everything, how the man had kidnapped them and killed 2 girls in the basement. Initially skeptical, the world now accepted that dissociative identity disorder is a real and extremely dangerous condition. Meanwhile, the beast was still alive and pleased that even bullets had no effect on him. If you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Unlike the other girls, she wasn't very bubbly or outgoing. She often seemed lost in her own world. After the party, Claire, whose birthday it was, and her father asked Casey if her dad wasn't coming to pick her up. Casey quietly replied that she didn't have a father. She lived with her uncle, but his car had broken down. She told them to go ahead, that he would come soon. Claire's father didn't feel comfortable leaving her alone, so he offered to drop her home. Now Casey, Claire, and Marcia all got into the car together. While Claire's father was putting some things in the trunk, suddenly an unknown man appeared. The trunk slammed shut loudly, and the stranger sat in the driver's seat. Casey looked at him in shock and fear. This was definitely not Claire's father. Claire tried to stop him, saying, "Brother, you've gotten into the wrong car." But Casey already sensed that something terrible was about to happen. The man put on a mask and sprayed something on Claire and Marcia's faces. Both girls in the back seat passed out immediately. Casey tried very slowly to open the door, but the man knocked her out too. When Casey regained consciousness, she was in a dimly lit room. Claire and Marcia were also there, barely holding themselves together in fear. Their kidnapper, a man wearing glasses, entered and, looking at Marcia, said, "I choose you," and immediately started dragging her away. Seizing the moment, Casey whispered in Marcia's ear, He yourself." Moments later, the man brought a crying Marcia back and threw her in, slamming the door angrily. Marcia told the others that the man's name seemed to be Dennis. He had taken her to another room, made her take off her clothes, and told her to dance. But as soon as she peed herself, he brought her back in disgust. Casey explained, "I noticed this man has OCD. He can't tolerate dust, dirt, or germs. People like him have an obsession with cleanliness. Even when he came to kidnap us in the car, he was still cleaning things. It's his habit." Claire tried to comfort the other two, saying, "Don't be afraid, everything will be okay. We'll fight him together." Meanwhile, on the TV screen in the room, news was playing about the disappearance of 3 girls. On the other side, an elderly psychiatrist, Drive, Karen Fletcher, was working on her computer. She saw that a patient named Barry had booked an appointment. Claire started planning. If the kidnapper comes again, the 3 of them will attack him together. But Casey said he was very strong. He had gently lifted Marcia despite his power. She added, "I need a little more time to understand him. I still don't know what this man really wants. I'll definitely help you, but first let me observe things." At Drive, Fletcher's clinic, a man wearing a hat and an open coat entered after knocking. This was Barry, but he looked exactly like Dennis, though his personality was completely different. "Doctor." Fletcher already knew this man had many personalities, 23 in total living in his mind. She suspected this wasn't Barry, but Dennis, because he was obsessively arranging things, Dennis's typical behavior. Meanwhile, the girls were trying to peek through the door. They saw a woman talking to the kidnapper, whom they thought was Casey and pointed at the door. The kidnapper was now sitting there in a yellow raincoat, looking very happy. This was Hedwig, a 9-year-old child personality. He kept repeating, "Someone is coming, you won't like him." The girls realized this wasn't an act. He really had multiple personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder. Hedwig seemed innocent, so they started asking him questions to learn more. Someone called Hedwig over, saying, "Come here, I'll tell you a secret." Casey told him that the person coming wasn't for them, but for him. She had overheard Patricia and Dennis saying they needed a 9-year-old boy this time. Hearing this, Hedwig got scared and said she was lying. Casey offered, "We 3 can help you fight him. Just take us out of here." Hedwig was still doubtful. He ran to lock the door from outside in panic, then rushed out and opened another door hurriedly. The girls started searching the room, tapping the walls. Claire suspected the ceiling might be hollow. Hanging upside down, she tore it open with her heel. Just then Hedwig insisted on coming back. Claire quickly removed the ceiling grill while Marcia and Casey held the door. But Hedwig turned into Dennis, much stronger, and broke the door